What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and if you guys have been in the Crash community for a little bit now, you guys would know that there's been articles that's been saying that Crash is harder than Dark Souls or as hard as Dark Souls. There's been people that, made these funny little, pictures that had Crash in Firelink Shrine. There's been just a whole bunch of comparing Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, to Dark Souls, and well, I'm going to discuss that a little bit today, kind of discussing, is Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy really as hard as Dark Souls? And in my personal opinion, after thinking about it, it kind of is. It really is, because when you think of Dark Souls and if you played it, what was the part that made it hard? Like, what was actually the part that you called it hard for? It was the part because you die a lot. That's the common perception of Dark Souls. Even the people that's never played it, they always say because of other people that it's hard because you're going to die a lot. Even in the back of the case on Dark Souls 1, it said prepare to die. And in Crash Bandicoot, are people saying it's really hard? Because, well, you're going to die a lot. Now that is right there exactly like Dark Souls. And if you think about the other stuff, another hard aspect of Dark Souls was really bosses, I guess you could say. And which, I mean, it wasn't that it was really hard, but if you compare bosses, not to bosses in Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, but rather to, I would say, getting the gems and relics, then that would be a pretty hard task as well as the bosses in Dark Souls. So there's another kind of correlation between the two that pretty much strikes pretty well on saying that it was hard as Dark Souls, because honestly, after playing it, after playing through all three of them, I can honestly say that yes, it is as hard as Dark Souls, because I remember playing Dark Souls. I played all three of them. I beat all three of them 100%, done every single achievement, and well, I remember how hard I struggled when I first played Dark Souls. Now if I play it, it's not hard at all. Honestly, I'd say Crash Bandicoot is a lot harder at this point because I don't know, just Dark Souls is really easy to me now. But when I first played it, I remember I struggled on the game. I struggled dying a whole bunch, losing my bloodstain plenty of times, and just referring to Bonfire as the caring, caressing of a mother. But Crash Bandicoot, I struggled on that game just mainly because jumping and Native Fortress and all that. That was Native Fortress and like Sunset Vista and High Road. What is it? The High Road? Yeah, it's the High Road and Road to Nowhere. Those are equivalent to, let's say, some people struggle with the with Ceaseless Discharge. Some struggle with Four Kings. So compare that. Even some people struggled with Gwen. So just compare those, like, your hardest levels in Crash Bandicoot to those bosses in Dark Souls, and they're pretty much similar. You're going to die a lot, and a bonfire is equivalent to a mask on Crash Bandicoot. A mask, other than falling, but it can help you with getting hit or just doing a whole bunch. Like, even some of the bosses in Crash Bandicoot struggle a little bit. Like, I had a little bit of struggles for some reason, but other than that, the game, it's like moderately harder than I remember. And it's not because I'm bad, I don't think, but it's just because, like I said before in my other video of why it's actually hard, is because, the jumping and how the objects are actually made. They're not flat anymore, they actually have rounded edges, which makes sense. And we were kind of cradled with the flat edges, like on the rope on Road to Nowhere, where we could just kind of walk across the rope. And you can still do that, but it's a lot more difficult this time. You have to hit it perfectly. And honestly, and think of that rope as equivalent in Dark Souls to, I guess you could say, soul farming. You farm for souls to level up to overpower the next boss, and pretty much there's so many ways to cheese in Crash Bandicoot as there's so many ways to cheese in Dark Souls. So all the people that's compared Crash Bandicoot's difficulty to Dark Souls difficulty, you're not alone, and you're not dumb for thinking that, because in all honesty, it is. If you, like I said, if you think about what makes Dark Souls hard, and if you think about what makes Crash Bandicoot hard, they correspond together. They have the same type of descriptions on what makes them hard. You're going to die a lot. And honestly, after thinking about that, I mean, I come to the conclusion that yes, people that have said that, the reviewers, I'm not gonna lie, I called the reviewers stupid for saying that. Now, they said that, they gave it a bad rating because it was too hard. Now, is it too hard? No, you can beat it. But I mean, it's just, I did call them dumb for comparing it to Dark Souls, but now after thinking about it, yes, they were kind of right. They were actually kind of correct. But enough of that topic. The next topic is just kind of basically giving you guys a heads up. My Crash Bandicoot 2 100% playthrough will be up. I would say maybe next week, like next Monday is when it will start. It'll be another probably like 3 uploads a day or more. I don't really know, but I'm doing 100% again. Not the relics, because that's not required for 100%. I'm just getting all the gems, and if I want to do the relics later, then I might do the relics. But other than that, probably if I do the relics, I'll say this: if I do the relics, it'll be gold or higher. I'm not gonna go for platinum, but if I get platinum, that's fine. But if I get gold, I'm not going to redo it. Because as long as I get a relic, I'm happy with it. I'm completely happy. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy today's video, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.